channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Holly, and today I'm sharing with you 2 pickle recipes. And the reason for that is it is a pickle collaboration. It is being hosted by Jim at Jim's Kitchen. He has fun recipes on his channel and lots of great content. Please be sure to go and check his channel out. I'm going to leave that link down below in the description box, along with a playlist of all my YouTube friends making some pickle recipes for this collab. And I'm making 2 pickle recipes for this one, and I think that you may enjoy these if you like pickles. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how easy and simple these 2 recipes are to make.
This first recipe is a homemade pickle recipe. Originally, I was going to make a ranch pickle, which I did, but we didn't really like those that much, so it wasn't one I thought I would share. This is one that I've made before, and this is one that I absolutely love, and I think you will too. So you need 6 cups of sliced up cucumbers, and I just kind of, sliced them about that thin. You need 2 cups of onions, and you want those to just be sliced up. They don't have to, you can kind of do them thin if you want. You also need 2 tablespoons of salt. I know I talk about my salt content, but this is pickles, so kind of can't, not do the salt with this. And 1 cup of vinegar. You also need 1 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Now, you can lessen the sugar if you want. I didn't mind. We don't mind the sugar in this. It's actually very good. It's up to you if you don't like sweet pickles, but they're not quite sweet. It's a cross between sweet pickles and bread and butter pickles, I would have to say, the taste. But you need a large bowl. She suggested a large plastic bowl. I usually use this one, but I don't really store it in there. But I add my salt and then my vinegar to it, and then you're going to stir this until it's completely dissolved. So you want to get that sugar and salt dissolved as much as possible. You may have a few granules in there afterwards, but you can kind of see where it's dissolved. So I take the cucumbers and the onions, and then I'm going to add them to this bowl. And basically you want to just coat them with the mixture, the vinegar mixture. And you would cover this and put this in the refrigerator for 24 hours. So for 2 days, you would cover this. You would shake it up after you cover it and continue to get those cucumbers, covered with the vinegar and the sugar mixture and everything. So you want to constantly do that so they're always being marinated, is what I'm trying to say. Now, this is what it looks like about 2.5 hours later. So basically what I'm going to do is take these and put these in a glass jar. I prefer to do that than leaving it in the plastic container. And I find that they will be able to marinate a little bit better when they're in an actual jar. So you can either leave them in the container like that or put them in, like I said, this mason jar that I have. And you can even use an old pickle jar if you have one. A lot of people save jars and things, so you can use that as well. So I'm just going to take my jar and I'm going to scoop these into there. And if you want, you can use tongs to actually put the cucumbers in first, and then you can use the ladle to pour over that liquid. But that's kind of what I do. I put the cucumbers in first, and then I add in the liquid, and then I make sure that that lid is tight. And that is it. You wait 24 hours, and the hardest part of it is waiting for them to be done, because you do taste it as you go. And I actually had enough to make, 2 jars like that. I had some of the brine left over, so I have a few cucumbers left that I'm going to cut up and put in there. But this is what I have. That's 6.5 cups, believe it or not, of cucumbers. They do kind of shrink down. But as I said, you might have a little bit of that brine left, and you can just add some more cucumbers to it. And these will last about, I think, a month in the refrigerator, but they don't last that long, honestly. They're very, very good. So this one is such an easy recipe. So if you've never made pickles before, try this one, because it's super easy and delicious. This next one is Pickle Fritters, and this was really, really good. So this is simple to make, similar to making like fried pickles, but I'm using the Clausen because this is what the recipe had called for, or what he had used. So you need 32-ounce jar of, pickles. And I needed the spears, but they didn't have those. So this was just the regular whole dills, and I'm going to cut those. But you need cornmeal, which is 1.5 cups of self-rising cornmeal. You need 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour and some oil to cook your fritters in. It calls for 1/3 cup, but I'm probably going to use a little bit more because I'm using a large pan for this. You need 1/2 of a sweet onion chopped up finely, and that's about as fine as I did it. So just, you can do them small pieces. Then you need, it called for a teaspoon of salt. I cut the salt down to about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and then you need 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and that is everything you need to make these pickle fritters. So since it needed spears, I wanted to show how I did this so I can cut that the way it was that I saw on Pinterest. So I took a whole pickle, cut it into the spears, so 4 segments, and then I just cut those down, roughly chopped those into little pieces, and it says to coarsely chop them, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's basically what I did. And you need 4 cups of the pickles chopped up. So take a bowl, and then you're going to add your cornmeal, and you always have to have cornmeal, of course, for pickles when you fry them. That all-purpose flour, and then you're going to add your seasonings to this, and this did season it well, I felt. At first I wasn't too sure about it, but it did. So just mix that up the best that you can. You want to combine all of those ingredients together and get them equally distributed throughout that mixture. Next, you will add the pickles and the onions to the cornmeal mixture. So this is you're battering them with the dry mixture first, if that makes sense. So just add those onions, and you want to mix that in the best that you can. And I should have honestly used a bigger bowl, but you live and learn. And I've lived a long time and should know better. But just mix it up the best that you can, and you want to kind of get the cornmeal and flour and everything onto the pickles and the onions. So that's all I did, was just mix that up. Now, once I have all of that coated, I'm going to take and put the buttermilk into the egg, but first I want to mix that egg up just a little bit, break it up, and then add the buttermilk to it and whisk it again. And then I'm going to pour this over the dry mixture. And same thing, you want to coat it thoroughly. Make sure that it's not that you don't have any dry spots in it. You don't want dry cornmeal or anything. It needs to be wet. So make sure, if you have to, like I did, I'm adding a little bit more buttermilk to it just to kind of get that consistency. So you want it to kind of be like sand that's, when it's wet, you can, it'll form in your hand, and then like wet sand, but not watery like pancake mixture, if that makes sense. So hopefully you can see that from this video how I'm doing it. So it will be a thick consistency, but you just don't want to have any dry, cornmeal, if that, I'm hoping that comes across. Now I'm going to add that oil to the pan, and like I said, it called for 1/3 cup. I mean, everybody's pans are different, so it's just going to depend on how much you need to use for this. And mine's a little bit bigger, so I'm trying to just coat it to where it has a very thin layer. I don't want it necessarily soaking in oil, deep frying or anything. But then you're just going to take like a tablespoon and put them, little drops into the pan. And you're going to fry these up until they're golden brown. And you can make them big or small, however you want. I just kind of did, you know, a heaping tablespoon kind of thing. And you want to flatten them out. As soon as the other side is brown, turn it over and immediately flatten it. And then you just continue to cook it until, like I said, both sides are crispy and brown. And then once you have that done, all you have to do is take them out. And then this makes about 23. So once I took them out, I did, you know, do another, and I did put them on a wire rack to let them drip off with the grease, so that way it stays crispy. But then I just started another batch, and then this is what they look like when they're all done. And like I said, I had about 23 of them or so that it made. So it depends on the size that you're making. And these were absolutely delicious. If you like fried pickles, I think you would enjoy this as well. It just has a few different, you know, like the onions and that in it. But really delicious. Definitely something I'm going to make again. And instead of doing just regular fried pickles, this is how I'm going to do it from now on. This would be really great. And you can see here, I wanted to show you the pickles. You can kind of see the brownness on each side and the pickles throughout. But you can also, this would be great with a plate of Creole tomatoes. It would go really well with that. Please don't forget to check Jim's channel out, along with that playlist that's down below of all my YouTube friends who are making some delicious pickle recipes for this. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. I hope everyone has a blessed day and a great rest of your week. God bless y'all.